I know, I know. You've heard the term health is wealth many times, and that's exactly why you're watching this video. You are sick and tired. You want to lose body fat, have a snatch waist, reduce that number on the scale, and just become the person that's capable of achieving those goals. And I hear you, I understand. I wish that for you. Because you can have the best career, you can make as much money, you can have the best relationship. But if you don't hit your health goals, you're gonna lose confidence and you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities. And I don't want that for you. All right? So I'm gonna show you and explain to you the 4 pillar strategies that I use for myself, for my elite client, to lose body fat and become the best version of yourself. It ends right here. All right? You're here because you want to be the best version of yourself. You're like, you know what? Let me see what this is about. Let me be curious because I want to lose body fat. I want to get snatched. I want to build that confidence. I want to be the person that steps on the scale without having no worries. I want to be able to look at the scale and be proud. I want to be able to have that strong mindset, to have that confidence, to improve my life outside of the gym. That's why you're here. You're curious. You want to know how winners win. You want to know how we get it done. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you, okay? So I'm going to show you the 4 pillar system that I use that guarantee results for my clients, for somebody like you, and that I use for me, okay? Because I understand health is wealth, okay? Like I've mentioned, you can have the best job, the best career, the best relationship. You can make as much money as possible, okay? But if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and you're proud with your health, with your physique, with your standards, there's always going to be something missing, okay? I've been there. A lot of my clients been there. So I know how it feels, and I don't want that for you, okay? So we're going to dive deep, and I'm going to show you exactly the system that guarantees results, okay? Just before we start, I want to give you some context that you need to understand the fundamentals, okay? So when you look at this picture here, what do you see? Okay? This was how our ancestors was back in the day, okay? Human lineage. If you look at it, take a second, you'll see lean body, snatch waist, toned physique, confidence, and they had no scale, okay? Nutrition was stupid, simple, basic. Fruit, vegetables, meat, fish, basic. Okay? They had natural sugars, fruits, vegetables, high fibers, and that's all they needed. It's just to show you how. Sometimes you're quick to forget how simple it is, and sometimes you see it. But information is not enough. That's why I really want you to pay attention, to listen, because you can take this information, all these things, and apply it to what you're doing already. Okay? So look, right here, fish, fruits, chicken, broccoli, veggies, simple, okay? And why do you think that they were able to function, to survive, to live, to hunt, to walk for hours without food, for hours without even water? And today, that's something that you can't even do, right? You probably need to drink water every, what, maybe hour, 2 hours. You probably need to eat every 2 hours, snack, all those stuff. But look, they didn't even have the technology. They didn't have the cars and everything. So why do you think they were able to do that? Okay? Very simple. Stored body fat, less stress, adaptation to fasting. Okay? And this right here, it's something that you can't even do today. With all the resource that you have, with all the Uber Eat access to everything, you can't do that today, right? You cannot teach your body how to burn fat for fuel. You cannot reduce your stress level when you're at work, when something bad affects you, right? When you step outside and then you don't like the weather, you don't know how to lower your stress. And you can't adapt to fasting. You cannot just sit around not eat for a long duration of time. All right. You're probably going to be hangry. You're probably going to feel tired. But those are the fundamentals. Okay. And this is what I teach, right? A specific, unique system that I use that's gonna help you to do these things because these things works. That's what they were doing right here, and they were snatch, lean. You see what I mean? So it's stupid, basic, simple. Okay, you don't even have to worry. It is so basic, simple. So now I get it, okay? At the end of the day, you're probably like, yeah, Chris, but now we have access to Uber Eats. And then now when I go to work, there's so much things around me, so much liabilities, and I'm busy, I'm short of time, I have to drive. You're gonna say all these stuff, okay? So why do 90% of the people today can't lose body fat and feel truly confident in their body when they get out of the shower? Why is that? There's at least 90% of the people, you're probably the type of person when you get out of the shower, you look at your body, you're probably discouraged, right? You probably have like insecurities and stuff, and then you probably don't like it, right? So why is that? You're not the only one. There is 90% of the people, so it's so many, okay? So don't feel bad. It's not just you, okay? So let's see. Maybe because you have a busy schedule, right? Work meetings, you have crazy tasks, your manager's up you, your boss is telling you have to work, and then you have so many things. Because at the end of the day, you're a high achiever, right? You want to win. If you're listening to this, you're somebody serious, right? So maybe that's you. You have a busy schedule, okay? And maybe you're tired because you have so many things, right? You got to go to work, you got to go to the gym, you got to meal prep, you got to do so many things. So now you're tired, right? You're going to be like, I don't have energy, I'm tired. Maybe that's it. Or maybe you have a family, you just started a family, you gave birth, right? And then now you're just trying to figure out, and now you're tired, you're trying to adjust your schedule. Or maybe like you're a new husband, right? You got like your wife, you got your kids, and then you don't know how to navigate these things. You have to eat Uber Eats. Yeah, the baby is crying nighttime. You just got so many things going on. Maybe that's what you're telling yourself, right? Maybe, who knows? That's probably it. And you see the problem? That's the story that you keep telling yourself. Today, this is the reason why you make yourself believe, right? You don't have no time, right? You're tired, it's overwhelmed, you're getting older, you just have a kid, you have no food, you don't have no time to cook, right? Your manager, too much things, too much daily tasks, so many things. That's the story that you keep telling yourself today while you're validating the reason why you can't get results. That's the problem, right? And you're saying that's why. But let me tell you something. You're wrong. You are wrong. That's not the reason why you cannot be the best version of yourself. That's not the reason why the scale won't move. That's not the reason why you cannot have a snatch waist and be happy, enjoy the food that you want. That's not the reason. It's not the reason, okay? You're wrong. So the real problem here, the main problem is your addiction to bad habits. That's one of the main problems. You see now, you've been so consistent at telling yourself these stories. You've been so consistent on having bad habits that led you to where you are today, but you have no idea. You have no clue, okay? But that's the problem, okay? So now, sweets, right? You're probably the type of person that loves sweets, right? And now, like you train your mind to start loving sweets, and now you're like, oh, I love sweets, I can't live without it. Weak mindset, right? You're not developing your mind, so now you have limited beliefs. You think you're not capable of doing stuff, right? Pleasure over results. You're the type of person that you will prioritize vacation, restaurant, your friends' birthday parties, do all these fun stuff because for you it's pleasure over the result, right? You're the type of person you will invest on vacation instead of prioritizing your health, instead of losing body fat. So then you can have amazing result and have pleasure. But for you now, it's no. I want pleasure first, and I want at the same time to get result. That strategy is never going to happen. And that's what you're experiencing right now. You lack self respect because you keep breaking your promises. So now, like, your subconscious mind doesn't even trust you anymore. Your mind doesn't even trust you anymore. Yourself, you don't even trust yourself. right? You keep saying this year is the year. You keep saying how you want to lose body fat. You keep saying how you want to change your life. You keep saying how like you want to be so fit and you want to like start like doing so good for yourself, but you give up when it gets hard, right? You quit. You look for the quickest shortcut, right? You're probably searching on ChatGPT, what's the best workouts? You're saving workout videos. You're trying group classes and stuff like that. No self-respect. And now you've developed a bad habit on that where you have no idea, no accountability. You have no real accountability, no real system in your life that's keeping you going. That's why it's so easy for you to quit when you don't see results. That's why it's so easy for you to settle for average. That's why it's so easy for you to never be that person that can achieve those goals. You have no accountability, no structure to keep you going, because when it gets tough, you quit. When it gets tough, you find other alternatives. When it gets tough, right, you point the finger, you blame something, you blame your own circumstance, right? And you live by fear over faith. See what I mean? So now it's like you have no accountability, no self-respect, weak mindsets, and like you crave sweets and stuff like that, and then you fear instead of having faith, right? You don't trust God's timing, and then you're forgetting who God is. You're forgetting the strength of God. You're forgetting that you're a child of God at the end of the day, but you just have to accept that. But you don't really believe it because what? You trust your liabilities. You trust your negative thoughts. You trust the fact that you keep working so hard, you're stepping on the scale, and you're not really seeing the result that you want. That's what you trust most. So for you, it's like you fear first, then you pray about it, then you trust God instead of trusting God first, having that strength and live by faith instead of fear. But you live by fear instead of faith. And with this system, this is what we're going to change, because this is the blueprint. We're going to change that. You're not going to live like that anymore because you're going to understand every single thing to break those things. And that's why you can open results in your life. You see what I mean? And here's the four pillar system, the winners win system that we use here to get results for people like you, to get results for my elites client, to get results for me. Okay. We start by daily habits. Okay. Daily habits are winning structures outside of the gym. It's not just about the gym. Okay. It's about doing something every single day that's going to get you better. Okay. The smallest things. Sometimes it can be reading 10 minutes. Sometimes it can be praying for 5 minutes, but every single day. But right now, you don't have daily habits in your life. You probably have weekdays where you plan your workouts. You're like, okay, you're going to go to work, then you're going to go to the gym, then you're probably going to eat clean, and that's it, right? But fitness starts outside of the gym, but you have no idea. And here we focus on daily habits because that's what guarantees the result, right? And in here we focus on mindset over physical strength. Right now you have weak mindset, right? You don't have system and strategies that can develop your mindset for you to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is when you see possibilities, right? You become a problem solver. You're going to become a problem solver in your career, in your relationship, with your friends, everywhere you go. But now you're fixed, right? You don't see the possibilities, right? You stay stagnant. And that's why you're not getting the result. And that's what's going to change here. In this system, we focus on internal fitness over external fitness. Internal fitness is your character. Who are you when you don't see results? What's your soul when nobody's watching you? How do you speak about yourself? What's your language? Are you good? Or you just love the external stuff? You love the physical stuff, right? You love the curvy body. You love the big muscles. But in here, the internal fitness becomes so strong and the external fitness becomes like secondary. That's when you become powerful. And that's what we focus on here. We have the specific strategies and system that targets that. And we live by faith, not by fear. Okay? That's why we maximize the approach because we understand delayed gratification. We understand trust God's timing. We understand we are a child of God. You feel me? So as a child of God, God did not make you to lose. God is a winner. God is big, so we think big. We have big energy, good vibes, right? Because we have systems on that. And that's how we get better. And moving forward, when you're going to come with this system, that's what you're going to have. Specific four pillar system framework specified for that. And right now, you don't have that. That's why the scale's not moving. That's why you're not losing body fat. You don't have that. You don't have that. If you were, you would have been the best version of yourself. You don't have that. And that's what's going to change. The fundamentals, right? But today, you're not maximizing your potential, still struggling at losing body fat, and build true confidence outside of the gym because this right here, right? It's like right now you have access to a gym membership, okay? You can go to the gym, but that's all you have. You have access to a facility that allows you to exercise and feel good. That's what you do. But do you have access to specific results? No. Do you have access to result oriented strategies? No. Do you have access to accountability that holds you accountable even when you want to quit? No, you don't have that. But you have access to a gym. You have access to workouts. You've been having access for that for so long now. But look, you're still not maximizing the result. It's just to show you without a specific framework, you can go to the gym. Manager is not going to call you to see, oh, are you getting lean? Right? The person at the front desk is not going to say, oh, how many workouts? Like, are you getting better? No. They're just going to wave you high and then you do whatever you got to do and then you leave. And if that's what you call your strategy, that's why today you're not maximizing your potential. That's exactly why. But in here, it's more than that. We have strategies that hold you accountable and make you become the best version of yourself, even outside of the gym. See what I mean? And that's the biggest difference here. Two, calories in and calories out. You're the type of person that you think you need to eat less to lose body fat. You think you need to eat like a rabbit. You're the type of person that says calories in, calories out, calorie deficit, and all those stuff, right? You're this type of person. And just because it worked before, but if it worked, why is it still not working right now? There's a reason. Those are temporary things. And just because you did it before and now you keep repeating the same thing, that doesn't guarantee result. And that's your problem right now. And you were never able to keep the progress, right? Yeah, you lost weight in some seasons. You gained weight, you lose weight, you gain weight, you lose weight. No, in this system, we get better. We are progression oriented, right? Results driven, strategies, accountability, systems, right? And that's what you don't have right now. And once you're going to start having these things, then you're going to be like, oh, okay. Oh, now you're going to get snatched, look good, feel good. And that's the biggest separation. Okay. And third, you forgot the strength of God. And because of that, and this is why I find so sad, you forgot the strength of God. And because of that, you trust your own circumstance more than you believe in Him. Okay? Because you live by fear, right? You live by liabilities, right? You became the person that's so consistent on trusting your own negative thoughts, right? Because now you step on a scale, you don't see the result. Maybe some things in your life are not working. You focus on all that. And where your energy goes, your life follows. But you don't even realize it because you're so consistent at it. You developed a habit of that. So now all your energy, all your effort, it's about liability, negativity, and is framing your mindset, right? But in here, we flip the script. It's not about perfection, okay? Like we fail. Sometimes there's life circumstance that's gonna make you stress, but there's always a lesson to be learned. And that's exactly what we're gonna teach here. There's a lesson to be learned when you fail. There is something there that you're not looking, even when you step on the scale, even like when you don't maximize your result, even like everything you want to do. But here we have a strong mindset and we live by faith. So now we understand. And that's what you're going to have moving forward. Positive thoughts, positive framework, system that gets better, and living by faith over fear. This is why winners win. This is why you hear me say it's just that simple, right? When it comes to food, nutrients, very simple, high protein meals, fruit and vegetables. When it comes with system, accountability, that makes you keep going because that's the goal. Imagine if you just keep going, you're gonna get the result. But sometimes you get upset, you quit, and that's why you stop. But now when you have the right framework, you get results. And when you're surrounded around elites, everybody in this system is elite, high achievers. They don't back down. And then when you come around here, you're gonna have access to that. You're gonna have access to our challenges. So we have challenges in our community that we do every 4 months. Elites, high achievers, people that want to win, people that want to get better. And now when you surround yourself around that, when you're around that type of energy, you elevate by default, right? Because you're going to see some people with the same circumstance as you, the same problem as you, and they got better, right? And that energy, it grows. Everybody is supportive. Everybody gets better. And you know how I do. If you know about me, if you have me on social media, you know what I'm about. And winners win. So if you're finally ready to take it to the next step, to really change your life, lose body fat, and become the person that's result oriented, action driven, book the call in my link, schedule the meetings, and I'm going to explain you exactly how this year will be the best year of your life. We guarantee results here. We change life because, again, I'm a firm believer that health is wealth, right? I'm a firm believer that without health, you're gonna become miserable. But that's why I stand on that. That's why I vouch for my clients. That's why I preach about it because it is so important. Okay. Without that, you're always gonna have something missing, right? With health and understanding God, understanding faith, understanding His strength. I'm front line for that because it's so important. He also changed my life. God put me in a position where it wasn't like that before. He put me in pain. He put me in isolation. He put me in fear. I was doubting, but then I had to go through these things. That's why I know God so well because every single thing that I talk about, I experienced it. It's a lived experience. I'm not just talking to sound cool. I'm not just doing research in Chat GPT because it's cool. No, this is a life experience, right? I understand what it's like to gain weight. At some point, I didn't like my body. I was always the type of person that I was kind of fit. I was playing sports, yes, as a coach, but then at some times I got bullied by life, just like you. At some point, you were getting better, and we're all human. But now I found myself again. I reinvented myself again. And that's what I want for you. With the proper system, with the proper accountability, winning is the only option. So if you're serious, if you want to get better, this is the only route. If not, then apply what you learn right here. This is going to work for you. Use that in your workouts, in your system, everything you do. But if you want guaranteed result, book the call, and then we're going to schedule how we're going to make this happen for you. I hope this helped. Winners win. It's just that simple.